All right, welcome back everyone here to Game 2 in a best of 3 Team eHug going up against CNB eSports. It's the CEVO Season 4 playoffs, $4,000 on the line here in CEVO, Maine. I'm Helium and joining me is Chicago Ted.
Remaining.
How's it going? Game one was quite the game. Definitely went heavy into eHug's favor, but CNB did show some early game life, and throughout the game didn't end up backing down at all. They really showed their strength, and I'm looking forward to this game being a little bit more close. And, you know, I still think that CNB can take the next two games, but they're going to have to dig deep and really pull this one out, because if they don't, then they get dropped out of the tournament, and that is not a place where they want to be.
No, definitely not. That's, of course, I mean, we should mention again, we can look at the brackets real quick. We are in the lower bracket round 1, unfortunately for CNB eSports. They lost to the Sneaky Nicks Assassins, which moved forward. They're actually playing in their best of 3 versus top 5. You can find that on twitch.tv/playcevo1. And then in the round of 8, we had eHug versus top 5, where obviously eHug fell to top 5. They find themselves down here in the lower bracket round 1. It's going to be a long road out, as two of the, I guess, favorited teams to win the whole thing have fallen out rather early to this lower bracket. Now only one can move on. And we made our predictions. You said 2-1 CNB. I said 2-1 eHug. Well, we'll have to wait and see. It's looking maybe like it could just be a 2-0.
Yeah, well, my prediction isn't looking that good right now. You're still closer. But again, I have faith in CNB. They look strong. They've been looking strong, and they can take this. They need to polish out those early game engagements and make sure that they're not giving ultra kills to Templar Assassin.
Yeah, with tracks as well.
With tracks, yes. All right, so we're into the drafting phase, already hitting the second ban right now. So if you're on in that, we can start talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, no surprise, Lycan's still getting banned out, Centaur as well, and Volk are going to be taken out. Not that it caused them a problem, but they don't want to play against it in another game here. They also take out Rubik in the next phase. Batrider Nyx Assassin also taken out by CNB eSports. And interesting first 2 picks here. Sand King, Darkseer. I mean, both of those heroes do utilize the jungle. Darkseer is a fantastic offlaner, so he might not have to jungle, and both are pretty reliant on, I'd say, blink daggers these days.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, Darkseer not as much. I mean, he still has Surge to get in position, but yeah, Sand King definitely relies on the blink dagger, and even more so now that it has no mana cost. That blink dagger is almost, you know, I'd have to say it is core on him. Just because that positioning is so important for the epicenter. If you shift Q it, the ep gets full duration off on your targets. It's pretty ridiculous how much damage you can do. So definitely a lookout point for the Sand King. So we see Disruptor taking the ban now, as well as Rubik, and taking out those 2 supports. I mean, is it supposed to be in reaction to what CNB have, you know, Darkseer's Vacuum into Static Storm, or is this trying to give a hint as to what eHug want to run?
I think they want Clockwork.
Think they're going to run the Clockwork again?
Yeah, well,
or, no, not again.
CNB had it in game 1, but I mean, Rubik is great against Clockwork because you can lift him out of the cogs. Disruptor, essentially the same thing. You can glimpse him out of the cogs, so I wouldn't be surprised if they pick it up. I mean, Jigglebilly loves the Mirana and he's their 1 role, so they're never really putting the Mirana in the off lane. Although, when you've got a Shadow Demon, you can put those 2 heroes literally anywhere and they will be a destructive force. We'll see. Yeah. I say Clockwork. Maybe Enigma coming out here. Enigma's Midnight Pulse.
I'd love to see Enigma.
Is hilarious now.
Yeah, it clears entire forests. That's absolutely hilarious to watch.
Him and Timbersaw are brothers now.
10 seconds
yeah, I know, right? But Enigma, that'd be an interesting one to watch. I mean, they don't exactly have a true Enigma team so far, but
Black Hole to Arrow, man.
Yeah, best arrow setup. 200-second cooldown setup for
actually not, because they still move, right? Chronosphere is the best arrow setup.
Oh my god. Yeah.
It is. It is actually really good. Like, if you have a Void, you can use Chrono just to get pickoffs with arrow. Like, why not?
Yeah, but
You're getting kills.
That's too serious, though. I mean, Enigma Black Hole is more comical.
Yeah, it is, definitely.
Wait until level 6 just to get that arrow combo.
He's also purple, so
just wait until
the official color TI4, so it's obviously the best color.
I thought it was, yeah, TI4 is purple. Speaking of TI4, by the way, guys, this is a preview to the TI4 American qualifiers. In fact, both the games going on right now, PlayCEVO 1 and PlayCEVO 2, are going to be games that you'll expect to see in the TI4 American qualifiers. So CEVO setting the stage, man. How does it feel?
Feels good if you're asking
Feels
me.
good.
Maybe you're asking the teams. I don't know.
Well, it's not going to be the Black Hole,
Team, pick.
but it will be the Tidehunter, the big dude with the new anchor smash. And, well, I like this.
Well,
I like
I know what they're
Tidehunter a
doing.
lot. Do you think they're going to run this off-lane Tidehunter?
No, they're going aggressive 100% with Tidehunter as a support, and they're just going to look to
Really?
murder people. And then when they do murder people, Tidehunter is going to get some levels. This is obviously, speaking ideal scenarios, Tidehunter gets the levels, then he
10
goes back.
seconds
He can stack
remaining.
his own Ancients, and once he's level 7, he can just destroy Ancients for the rest of the
5
game if he's
seconds
not
remaining.
needed. Hold a TP,
All
and
he
have
is
a
an
Blink Dagger and
Undecided
Refresher.
and an Enigma, and we've got the TI2 play going on here.
Yeah, there you go.
Got
Hopefully
my
not,
fingers
though.
crossed. Got my fingers crossed. Smoking.
Said we have Dragonite.
Wraparound gank will be the name of the game. Got patience from Cakes. I don't know.
Patience from Cakes. We've got Dragonite, which the South American teams really love, and ADR, I think, has impressed me more than anybody on that hero. But if he's playing as support, then we might not see him on this Dragonite.
I think ADR, I really hope that he plays the core role again. I don't think he did as much as he would have liked on the support. Obviously, had some decent
Reserve
plays,
time.
but I really feel like he's more in tuned towards that core role. And him on the Dragonite is definitely a spectacle to watch. So be looking forward to that. Dragonite plus Dazzle is really strong. You've got the splash over the minus armor AoEs. Can be very difficult to deal with. And when you got Darkseer to pull them all into the AoE of both skills, then things get a little difficult. Now, Tidehunter does a good job at counter initiations, but to be perfectly honest, if they can get the vacuum into the burrow, into weave, and then Dragonite on top of all that, I don't think Tidehunter can even get his Ravage off.
Radiant team.
It's a lot of abilities that need to sync up, though, for CNB. It can be pretty
yeah.
hard. I mean, especially when you're playing against eHug, right? Like, they're not going to be two people within one vacuum radius. Ideally, I mean, maybe you catch them on a retreat or chasing you through a choke point and they kind of let their
10
guard
seconds
down.
remaining.
But for the most part, I think it's going to be hard to catch eHug that off guard, and
5
they pick an
seconds
axe.
remaining.
I'm expecting that either safe or mid lane.
Yeah, Axe is a
Farming
really
away.
interesting pickup right here because he can do so much. Like, Axe's call is one of the best lockdowns, in my opinion. It
And go
forces
through magic immunity.
Yeah, so you've got Sand King, who's waiting off in the jungle, ready to pop his epicenter. Axe blinks in, calls him during the channel. Boom, that's gone.
Radiant
You've got
team
Darkseer waiting in the
Or
wings, ready to
just
pop
puts
out
hunger.
that vacuum.
Dire
Axe
team,
blinks in,
pick.
calls him. He's done. Dazzle wants to put down the shallow grave. Axe says no, calls you. You're done.
Or chops through it, regardless, because
yeah,
it
of
doesn't
course.
matter.
So that's going to be kind of fun to watch this Axe, widely regarded as one of the Dazzle counters. And Gyrocopter is actually going to be the pickup for CNB. Now, that is a hero I haven't seen in a while, but taking a look
10
at this lineup,
seconds
it's a Darkseer Gyro combo, which brings me back heavily to
5
what was it,
seconds
6.6 meta?
I mean, it does. I don't really like it, though.
TI3,
They've got,
man.
they're so dependent on their ultimates, right? Like, I mean, granted, Call Down is always going to be up. Dragon Form is almost always going to be up. Weave is almost always going to be up. But
Well,
they
these
really
skills are-
need the wall, vacuum, and epicenter.
10
Otherwise, they can
seconds
do
remaining.
nothing. And meanwhile, Team eHug, okay, interesting. They pick up an anti-mage here for Justin. I expect that to be by itself going against a Darkseer, and eHug is going to look to aggro. That'll be Jigglebilly taking Axe into the mid lane. That's what I'm predicting. So I don't know.
Yeah. Anti-Mage is a good counter to Darkseer. Why it hasn't been seen as one to most people, but he does the mana burn helps because Darkseer needs to get off his spells to be effective, and if he can't, then he's not really going to be able to do anything in that lane until he gets a Soul Ring, and even then, you keep refreshing yourself with mana, that's more damage that Anti-Mage can take off of you. But right now, Team eHug, they have a really strong 4P1, which if they can give space to Anti-Mage, they definitely can with the Axe, Tidehunter, Demon, Mirana combo, where you've got Mirana and Shadow Demon finding kills with
10
that
seconds
disruption to arrow.
remaining.
You've got Tidehunter and Axe being big, lumbering,
5
muscly
seconds
dudes
remaining.
walking around, screwing up your channeling spells. And, well, at the moment, I mean, it's going to be up to CNB to figure out how to deal with this because Axe blinking in, locking down the gyro or locking down anyone really can make a team fight go from bad to worse.
Well, we've got Dazzle here. Who is that actually? Let's find him. That's going to be Baga drawing lines. So they look to be doing a 5, maybe 4-man invade as they draw the lines off the start here. Game still paused, waiting on Pandego to go ahead and pick up his hero, which will be, who was it, Shadow Demon? I believe.
Yeah, it's
Pretty sure.
definitely going to be. Pandego typically known to play that solo support role. In
So
fact,
we'll
he's
see.
the only one left, so of course.
I'm really hoping. Yeah, I just wasn't sure of the hero.
Oh, man,
I
look,
can never
that
remember him for
axe.
some reason.
That axe
That-
for axe, man. Got the ram horns.
My axe is freaking cool. I think it's like all uncommons, but they're all from different sets, and I like a badass.
Yeah. I don't know. They're rocking the Elgato though. I like that one. So
Yeah, they've had it for a while. All right, well, here we go. We've got eHug. They're on the Dire. Pandego supporting up on that Shadow Demon. They look to be going aggressive here with the Tidehunter. I'm a Sheep sucks. Cakes on the Marana. This will leave Jigobilly going into the mid lane. Maybe Justin goes there, but Justin on the anti-mage, Jigobilly on the axe, either going mid or safe. We will see.
Yep.
Actually, really hope to see a battle mage coming out here from Justin.
be interesting. We might be seeing a 5-man rumble in the jungle though. Nah,
Yeah,
it looks like
they decided
eHug
to
are
scout
back
their
now.
own
All right.
jungle instead of the lines that were drawn earlier up in this area.
Well, I think they are anticipating the solo anti-mage, so they really don't want to spend a lot of time going into this jungle and then only finding one hero. That's a
13
lot of wasted time. In fact, if they had kind of stayed in their own, they might have been able to find eHug as they're getting a little
this
bit
on?
aggressive into the enemy jungle right now. But that's aside from the point for CNB. We're going to see in the off lane right now, it's going to be Tavo playing up the gyrocopter. Baga will be on the Dazzle. 4DR playing on the Sand King. In the mid lane, it's going to be King RD, King Grand playing the Dragon Knight. And Nedbone will be on the Darkseer here. And this is going to be a solo lane in both versus aggressive tri-lanes. And I don't know, do you think CNB want to try to rotate around and go aggressive against this eHug's tri-lane? I feel like this is a smart decision trying to dodge it.
Yeah, I think it's a great decision for CNB to dodge here. Tri-lane's pretty strong. I mean, you got the setup for the arrow and then the armor reduction coming out from Gush. It's pretty good.
Gush
Morana's
anchor
going to be doing
smash,
a lot
right?
of damage. Yeah,
Is it Gush?
Gush does
Oh, yeah.
the damage.
Yeah, Anchor Smash is
sorry.
the armor, as the damage.
Yeah, yeah.
Gush is the armor. Yeah, you're right. All right, good on that one. But so Justin,
Darkseer should be dead here.
Yeah,
in the
oh,
bottom
yeah.
lane, he could be caught out by himself. He goes under medium range arrow coming through, but they pull the creep over, and that's a bit awkward. He gets surrounded though, and I don't know if that was planned or what, but it certainly worked out for them. Cakes taking damage from double ion shells. Arrow is going to be missed here. The ion shell of the creep will run out now. Ned going into the
gonna get
tree
away.
line, trying to run away. They know where he's going though. He doesn't have surge for another 2 seconds, and he will go down. It's going to be first blood here to I'm the Sheep Sucks, and this looks oddly familiar to their game in the round of 8 here in these playoffs versus top 5, where they ended the game in about 20 minutes with this almost exact lineup.
Gonna
I think
go on to
Anti-Mage.
Anti-Mage. He does have Blink though, so they can't quite stun him up just yet. In fact, HyperX was just, or 4DR was just kind of baiting that one out. But yeah, so Darkseer couldn't quite get away, and I think I had the size switched right there because he went into the jungle, and I expected him to go back and up, but then I realized, wait a second, that's not his side of the river. So couldn't quite get away from that one. And I think the way he went was as smart as it possibly could be, but I don't think there was any way he could have gotten away from that.
Should have TP'd. I don't know if he had the gold for it though.
Oh, he would have died immediately. Focus Fire would have killed him.
Yeah, it could be hard to focus though in the trees when multiple people from the same team are running back.
Yep.
I don't know.
Might
Good
not
shot,
have
'cause
realized that
there were no
Jigglypuff
stuns.
was, he might not
The
have
arrow,
seen it,
yeah.
because it was just short range and gone immediately. So
I think it hit a creep as well, like straight up, so he didn't even see the arrow itself.
looking at the mid lane though, I mean Jigglebilly versus Dragon Knight. I don't think Dragon Knight is going to have too much fun in this lane.
Well, 13-1 on the last hits. Looking at King Grand, only 4-1. As the levels on Breathe Fire get up, it's going to be a little harder for Jigglypuff to stand here, I think. But it looks like, what does he have coming out right now? The Tranquil Boots are finished. So really, Jigglypuff can just leave the boots over here.
Oh, look at
do what
this.
he's doing now, and then when he needs to heal up, just go heal up.
Yeah, Jigglebilly is
Tranquil
just
Boots.
calling in full creep waves and getting all those spins. And That's going to be huge. And getting all that damage off, you saw 2 spins bringing King RD down so low. And with the new pseudo-random chance, you can expect when you're going to spin a little more often. In the top lane, it looks like the eHug are going to go ahead and just force onto this tri-lane. I never saw the rotation, but...
It was a slow one. It was very gradual.
But this is going to be big for eHug to find these kills. And now, I mean, this Gyrocopter, who initially had to farm, is not going to be able to get it up as much as he was previously. But the only thing is, Sand King is getting levels on his Burrow Strike, getting decently close to level 3. And that's going to mean a longer range Burrow and a 2 or 3 heroes can set up kills very well with a Poison Touch and a Rocket Barrage. So looking for that one. Meanwhile, Anti-Mage going up against the Darkseer, another favorable matchup for eHug. Lanes right now are looking very good for eHug, and CNB are being forced into some pretty not-so-good positions.
The lane down here is a little bit harder for the Anti-Mage, though, because he comes here as level 3, meanwhile Darkseer is already level 4. So that makes it a bit harder for this Anti-Mage to stay here. And let's look at his... He does have 1 in Spell Shield, needs to put 1 more in Mana Break, and then he can get a little more in that Darkseer's face and do what you were talking about earlier.
Well, all he has to do is blink past and drop a couple of auto attacks, and that kind of forces Nedbone to pop Surge. If he doesn't have Surge because of a couple of those auto attacks, then Darkseer can be pretty much screwed. So Anti-Mage can be very aggressive versus the Darkseer, and I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't been already. He's focusing more on getting the last hits, which in a typical role, in a traditional role as Anti-Mage, that's what you want to be doing. But I think this Anti-Mage...
He wants level 4.
Yeah, I guess that's the aim.
He wants 2
right
in
now,
Mana Break.
Jigobilly has a Haste Rune, and he's just going to go ahead and farm up the creep wave, so nothing huge there.
Yeah, he can't kill without level 6.
He can get pretty damn close.
I mean, King Grand has been pretty close to being killed. He just, you know, you can't finish it, right? Because once the creep wave dies from 2 of your helixes, then you can't really do anything. Instead, he'll use this haste rune, and he's booking it towards the top lane. So Jigobilly, there's a disruption here. They're looking for the arrow. It will land there on ADR, so he's going to fall. They don't even need Axe, and Axe is like, great, I'll just run back to the mid lane. Good thing I have Tranquil Boots, 90 movement speed.
Well, that does drop his potential for getting some good XP there, but to be honest, he isn't really falling behind the Dragon Knight all that much, probably about 100 XP, and really that's not great. I mean, it looks like he's going to go ahead and drop some auto attacks in the Jigobilly, but nothing too substantial right now. The big thing is that he's going to go on the tower, but top lane, Tavo, he's going to get graved up, so he should be able to survive for a little bit longer, but he is most certainly dead.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he was looking to stay to fight. Maybe if he had just ran immediately once getting graved, he could have got away, but I don't know, decided to stay, get the full duration Rocket Barrage off, but it's being split amongst 3 enemies, so it doesn't really do anything. Tide as well is so tanky right now. 3 armor, 720 HP. These supports are going back to heal right now, and I expect that they'll be smoke ganking mid, or even top for that matter, pretty soon.
Yeah, right now...
Speaking of smokes...
Oh. Yeah, where is that? It looks
Thinking.
like 40R. He wants to make something happen, but Axe isn't there. And that means that this smoke could be just completely wasted. And he finds a haste an invis rune, so that's going to help a little bit, prolong that smoke. But at the moment, CNB are just looking a little far behind, and Axe is already going to the jungle. He's stacking up camps. Gonna be finding some good gold from that, and all in all, we can take a look at the gold in XP. It shows exactly what we're fearing, is that gold is going the way of eHug, and pretty heavily so for 6 minutes.
Yeah, 1,000 seems pretty good. Where's Justin at on the last? It's 17 and 2. Not doing fantastic, but he's got a Ring of Health up right now. And wow, he doesn't even opt to put another point in Mana Break. He goes instead for stats. He has 2 points in stats right now. I feel like 2 in Mana Break is really good, though, because you go from 28 mana per hit to 40. It increases by 12 each rank, which is pretty good.
So, Justin is going traditional, as I mentioned earlier. This is the burning build, where you go 1 point in everything, and then you max out stats, or get very close to maxing.
Miss last hits on ranged tower.
The whole point is you're not supposed to miss last hits if you do this build, because it gives you so much damage. But yeah, at the moment, it's not a fighting build. At least for the early game, it's not good for fighting up against Darkseer. Now, stats are great, but you really do want that mana break, and you want that blink to force the issue onto the Darkseer. And if you don't have that, then the Darkseer is going to be able to walk a little bit more over you. Now, if you have the rotations in from your support, yeah, things get a little bit easier, but...
Oh, King ID missed the last hit on the mid tower. So they do push that down because obviously the lane has basically been abandoned right now. Maybe they rotate over Tide so he can get level 6. I think they were busy... I'm not sure what they were doing. Maybe thinking about getting a kill bot lane on Darkseer, but Axe has been very, very busy in the jungle, so he can easily give over the lane to his supports, but Jigglebilly not wanting to give it up for some reason.
All right, so looking forward...
Maybe they give this to Tide instead.
Yeah, maybe. So looking forward, next 10 to 15 minutes, what does CNB have to do to pull this game into a position where they feel rather comfortable?
I feel like if they can get their mech on Darkseer, which he almost has, that'll really help. Maybe like treads into drums, or maybe even just the Shadowblade here, which he's going for, King RD on the Dragonite. Look to get a favorable initiation. Who do you take out, though, right? There's so many people you need to kill. Jigglebilly's going to be doing a ton of damage. You got to watch out for this Ravage. Maybe you wait for the Ravage, try to mech, but there's a ton of bursts coming from the Starfall. Last game was evident of how powerful that ability is. So, you got to really get your fights. Just choose them wisely. Maybe try to work the pickoffs and just keep farming up this gyro.
They got to do it fast, though, because the one upside to the Burning build is that Justin is going to be farming very quickly. At 29 last hits, he will catch up very fast if he gets free farm in lanes, and if CNB get forced to make rotations that they can't pressure the anti-mage with. So they're going to be looking, eHug's going to be looking to that, just farming up the anti-mage, making sure that he gets that, and really trying to get the bang for their buck out of him.
Yeah, we'll see what he does. He's still, he goes actually back to the top lane route. He just wants to keep finding this Darkseer. Maybe they go for a kill. Tide is here. That's Axe TPing in. Does he have a Blink Dagger already? He does. He unveils it. Jumping onto Nedbone here. The Gush going to come out, reducing the armor. He's still running very, very quickly. Can they blink forward? It's going to be a risky blink. They won't go for it. So Blink unveiled. Pretty expected as well as Jigglebilly has been doing, but it's unfortunate they don't get a kill with the first use of the Blink Dagger. And their mid-tier 2 tower is taking some heat here from this Dragonite.
Yeah, so a mid-axe with pretty much kind of free farm, 16-7, he should be getting his Blink Dagger pretty early. So that's definitely to be expected. And great just peace of mind from Darkseer, from Nedbone, to just get away from that one and stay alive. Giving up a kill there would have just been icing on the cake for eHug's early draft right here. So definitely something they didn't want to do. And with 2 tier 1 towers down for CNB, or in favor of CNB, rather, that's a little bit of gold that they could be using, and it looks like with a Claymore coming out from Dragonite, he could be going Shadowblade.
Yeah, I think he is. Obviously he's going Shadowblade.
Well, could be
so he's about 100. Could it, really?
Cleave on the melee
Cleave
form
on,
and splash
cleave
on
on
the range
cleave.
form? I don't know.
Yeah, so he's going for the Shadowblade without upgrading his boots. So yes, he can be this force of initiation, but he's still going to be... he's not going to be squishy, but he'll be squishy for a Dragonite. He's got 12 armor and only 1,000 HP when he could have quite a bit more. It won't be attacking for all that much either without those treads. Sure, the attack speed from this Lothar's Shadowblade... I haven't called it Lothar's in a long time. Shadowblade's going to help, but the treads would be nice. Obviously, they know they need this initiation.
Wait for the surge and then put down the disruption. They miss the arrow, though. And he's actually just going to walk away right now, as they don't really have any way to stun him out now. And he pops the Ion. He turns around. I don't think this is the right call.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
But no, he's still there. If he gets hit by an arrow or a disruption right now, he's dead. But he's just kind of being very aggressive. I guess that's what he needs to do at the moment. And putting some damage on the Justin. He realized that there's rotation out. Cake's going to drop the arrow. Can he get it? He will! Oh! And Nedbone, this is a death.
Oh, and Justin going to just go ahead and take the kill with the Mana Void. He's the carry. He needs it. That's going to help him with his farm. Only 39 last hits, but he gets a kill. He's got the Perseverance completely finished up here. Now he's looking for his next pieces, of which he has none. So still a ways off of this Battle Fury. Looking to complete it up. With just brown boots, maybe like 15 minutes, 16 minutes, if you can keep finding some space.
Done on King RD. He's going to go for that instant stun on Jigglebilly, but they don't quite have the follow-up for this. He's going to go ahead and drop the stun, as well as the Dragon Form gets called in. There's the teleport, and he can get it off. He will! Oh, man, living with 100 HP, that is definitely not what you want to unveil your Shadowblade with. I was going to say, if he can get early kills off of that Shadowblade, then upgrading those boots will be pretty easily. But now that they know the Shadowblade is out, this is going to be a little bit harder for the Dragon Knight.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the same thing happened to Jigabilly as well, right? He goes top, he has the blink in to the Berserker's Call, they don't get a kill. They are up 4-0, though. So.
In that comparison, they're up very far ahead. Justin, he's going to get forced back into his jungle, but he has blink.
Towers, though.
Yep. King RD is just going to do what Dragon Knight does best and push down the tower. There are no real TPs in, but there is a TP out. They're going to sack this tower for their third tier 1 to drop. And if there's anything keeping CNB in this game, it's the tower gold. As we see, the gold earned actually heavily in favor of CNB because of the 3 towers down. So some big stuff coming out from them.
I think that's pretty expected. Tide as a support doesn't get that level 6 as fast. Since the lanes, were switched around quite a bit, they didn't quite... Obviously, the tri-lane for eHug was stronger, right? Because it was CNB that kept trying to dodge it. And without getting those kills in the lane, Tidehunter doesn't get leveled up as quickly. He hasn't bothered to roam either, so he finally gets level 6. I don't think eHug will be giving up any tier 2s whatsoever.
Well,
they might, but not without a fight.
They can and maybe will. I mean, this is a really good push coming out from CNB. They have a lot of heroes. They're not falling behind on AXP just yet. They're not falling behind on... Oh, Jigglebilly jumping up onto the cliff. Okay. Well, I was saying...
Oh, Justin, no.
Crack in the shell of the Sand King. Where is your king now, says Jigglebilly. And
turn into a wraith.
Maybe. Maybe so. But, yeah, so they're not pulling ahead as much in XP as they probably could be. And in gold, they're behind. So CNB aren't out of this yet. It may look like it, but they're far from out of this. And, well, arrow down mid, it won't connect. And CNB, they have the potential, if they can line up 5-man pushes, to push down mid. They're getting plenty of gold on this Sand King, so because of towers, he should be able to get his blink out fairly soon. And once that's out, eHug might not be able to take a 5-on-5 fight. I mean, we talked about the combo that CNB has. Their gyrocopter's been pretty much AFK in the jungle, farming hard and farming fast, catching up on last hits. His net worth is actually the top of the chart right now. And, I mean, eHug, they're staring down a ticking time bomb, where it looks like they're ahead, but they're going to be hard-pressed to defuse this once they start barreling down these tier 2s.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that CNB will be barreling down tier 2s anytime soon. It's going to be a pretty good fight, as the Ravage has yet to be used here from Sheep. He maybe picks up his mana boots, maybe he just decides to go Blink Dagger on top of Brown Boots. We'll have to wait and see, and all the meanwhile, we do have Justin farming up. He's got his Claymore now, he's only about 500 gold away from getting the Broadsword, and that will make the Battle Fury, so around 16 minutes, maybe 17, he should have that online. Not the fastest, but he was, running all over the map here, and it looks like eHug, they're going to group up behind him, maybe even, they will smoke behind him and use Justin here as bait. Gonna lose a tier 2, though.
But I don't think CNB are going to take this bait. They are quite happy to let a little bit of damage go on the tier 1 so that they can farm up the tier 2. And they've got a couple of illusions plus a Dragon Knight up here. He's actually going to cut the creep wave with one of his illusions, so this tower is going to fall up top. Almost guaranteed. And the bottom tier 1 is just not taking enough damage. In fact, it looks like Nedbone, he's going to go ahead and put some aggression onto this. They're not going to be able to defend. They're top tier 2, or at least they're going to trade this. And no, they're not going to trade it. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Tier 2 is going to drop top. Tier 1's not going to drop bot. But they might lose a couple as Jigglebilly is going to TP in.
Darkseer.
Yep. And there is the first Ravage, but it's on 2 heroes. He gets the Shallow Grave off, and they're not actually going to get anyone with this Ravage. The call down will miss. In the meantime, the top tier 2 still standing, but rather low. And now Sheep sucks. He's going to... Oh, that damage. Well, that's what you get for a Gyrocopter free farming. Just puts down the hurt. And Tidehunter is going to drop tier 2 top at 200, 400 hit points. And tier 2 bot is going to take a lot of damage too. And they've got no Ravage anymore to deal with this.
Yeah, that was a pretty underwhelming use of the Ravage. The Grave had gone off beforehand, so they weren't able to bring down anybody there. And it's the first kill of CNB, but now they're taking so many towers that the gold is getting out of control. Dragonite is now really starting to develop, so he's scary. He's got the treads, he's got the Shadow Blade at a really decent timing, even at 17 minutes. It was a well-timed Shadow Blade, of course, but he did skip the treads for it to try to get them online, which I think was really smart. Now he likes to go get Cakes here in the middle lane. That long stun we talked about, 2.5 seconds here, just level 1. Cakes will be forced to leap away, and that initiation, you can see how strong it is, gets him down to 500 HP. Meanwhile, Justin, frantically trying to get some towers and find his farm to Battle Fury, has been completed as he goes into the jungle.
So I don't think eHug really understood what they were messing with right now. I mean, CNB are actually ahead in gold and not too far behind in XP, so they're not going to die as easily as they expect. I mean, they went all in the bottom lane to try to pick off 2 heroes that they thought would be easy kills. And what happened? They ended up losing their Tidehunter and dropping the cooldown for the Ravage. So they need to respect CNB right now, as they are far from out of this game. And with the tower push potential that CNB has right now, one good team fight, and that's Arax. Easy if they decide to commit to push one of these lanes. And with the top tier 2, again, 400 HP, this tier 2 push up top, they have the Elder Dragon for him. It's a gone tower.
No
glyph,
they're gonna
it's
bother.
gone.
eHug just, I don't know. The trade sucks, but maybe just kill this tier 1. Try to get on the board a little bit there.
I don't know if they can, though. The tier 1 is only missing 500 HP. He's got 800 left, and now with Medbone, he's in here ready to get the defense off. Pops out a couple of ion shells, and actually Justin's going to go ahead and just farm that one up. Holy, look at the damage. Justin taking a bit more than he can chew. Pandago as well. There is going to be a nice Mana Void to pick up Medbone, but they're ready for the reinitiation. There is a Ravage up if they want to spend it. 4DR is actually taking a lot of damage, but the Ravage isn't going to be spent. They're going to go ahead, actually. 4DR is going to go ahead and drop it on in. The Ravage will fly, and now Baga wasn't able to get the Shallow Grave. He's going to drop as well. Call down as well as the Moonlight Shadow. The arrow will be juked, but CNB this time not respecting, but they are going to go ahead and drop down a couple. Actually, no. It's going to be King RD. Going to have to run for his life. He's not going to get away. Culling Blade is up and available, and Jiggle Billy, 3, 2, 1. Cole? No? There it is.
Dunk.
So
Yeah,
I guess
so eHug can still win fights.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, their tier 3 tower is in deny range up here, and now the racks are going to be exposed very, very soon. So they're going to have to start doing something. Next time Ravage is off cooldown, maybe 5-man that top lane and look to push these towers. But kind of like we've seen Lycan do, at least in 6.80, where he gets that 15-minute Rat Dota on. Dragonite is to the point where he can sort of fill that role.
So contrary to last game, this is Rat Dota.
Yes.
By all means. I mean, they are, you can argue whether or not CNB is ahead right now. After that fight, definitely not. But this is exactly what Rat Dota is. Now, is that what CNB want to base their strat on? I'm not totally sure. But is it helping them bring down towers? Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, if they get this Rax, that's going to be really, really helpful. The one thing, though, about getting a Rax so early on, it seems fantastic because that lane is always going to be pressured, and you think, well, when we get a Rax, we're having the amount of farm that the team can get from that lane. But if you think about it, you don't get any farm from that lane because it's always push, and it's just too dangerous to farm when it's up there. So it could be good and bad. I mean, at 20 minutes, if you'd ask me if I'd rather have taken a lane of Rax, I mean, I'm always going to say yes, but it's not always an ideal scenario.
So, I mean, the only difference is that when you drop down a Rax in the top lane, you're not getting any farm from that lane, sure, but look at the wide area that you're going to be able to choke out of your enemies. So, I mean, is it good in the early game? I'd say most definitely. Is that something that they want to probably work for? Yeah, but they're going to force the issue right now, and it's I really can't pinpoint who will win this engagement if they totally force it. They can definitely take down this tier 3, though, if they can get the creeps up on the top of the lane, and yep, that's what they're going to do. They're actually going to put down a disruption, but I don't know. Yeah, they're going to go up and just go down this tower. Oh, the deny gets yep. But that should be the end of that. They get the tower. That's what they came for. Maybe drop a couple of auto attacks on the ranged barracks, but I'm not sure if they really want to totally force this. No, they're going to force this. With Anti-Mage at the bottom lane, he's got a TP, he's going up, he cannot force a tier 2, but they're going to drop some damage on the ranged racks, and now Jigglebilly, he's getting ready to get the call on. Drops it down, maybe, no, he gets disrupted. And now there's the Ravage. No vacuum just yet. They're going to get some good damage onto I'm a Sheep Sucks, and the mech comes out. Everyone back up to full. The Mana Void, though, dropping everyone back down to half. And now they're going to go ahead. CNB are going to go on the full retreat as 4DR are backing out. The BKB down on the Tavo. The Moonlight Shadow, though, is popped up from KZ, and Pandago dropping health very quickly. Will end up earning himself, and now there comes Jigglebilly. One Cole, putting him on a killing spree. The Rax still standing back in the fight. It looks like Tavo dropping low. Dropping. He should fall to this auto attack. He will. Tier 3 for a couple of cadets, and they never actually picked up a kill. That seemed to be going the way of CNB, but, I mean, eHug, they take the high ground advantage, and they take it strong.
They denied their own tower, but I'm a little concerned. The ranged barracks did take a lot, so at any point, you know, if there's another team fight, Dragon Knight can easily come up here and take out that ranged racks. The melee takes a couple hits, but obviously it can heal back up. And actually, mid lane, is that ADR picking up a kill? The second kill here for CNB, and a little bit of an awkward pause, but ADR's not getting away. He's got no mana, he has nothing, and yeah. Accept your fate.
Yeah, it seems a lot of good humor coming out from both of them. Mechanism?
There's no mana.
CNB, yeah, he can't do it. He can't do it. Oh, man. 30 seconds on that Arcane Boots. Justin got mana void in 5 HP. Yeah. 5 seconds, rather. This is a dead Sand King.
We'll see what happens here. I don't think that's why they're pausing. I mean, it's really not worth the puppy pause to go ahead and save Sand King in the situation.
I don't think that's what the pause is for.
Maybe. I mean, it gives a lot over to Justin here. I'm assuming someone else has lagged out. It looks like they are ready to go right now.
Let's see what happens.
Justin is getting very, very strong.
Oh, he's got Soul Ring. He's got Soul Ring. He's gonna mech. The mana void up though. 5 seconds. Can he find the kill? He will not be able to get it. Ends up mana voiding onto Nedbone. So 40R is safe, but Nedbone now is in a little bit of trouble. Blink out from 40R. Nedbone is actually gonna get scraped up. They might end up keeping everyone alive. No. Nedbone will drop. But 40R stays alive. And I guess that's what the pause was for. I think eHug are really feeling angry about that one.
Yeah, maybe I was expecting a little bit more damage, but I guess there was only 1 mana, so there was nothing to drain. So Anti-Mage did not just one hit that Sand King. There was the 3 seconds on Soul Ring. It was on cooldown, so he's able to use the Soul Ring, and he goes ahead and gets off the mech. And then we saw what happened. Dazzle showed up in the nick of time. Darkseer goes down for a Sand King, which is probably less worth it in the end. So the play was nice, it was cute, but maybe not as well thought out.
It preserved the blink. Well, actually, no, he had the blink. No, did he get the blink?
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe not.
All I know is Anti-Mage didn't die, and he's sitting on 2,000 gold. He's got a Yasha, and sure, High Ground was broken, but they had difficulties already, and Anti-Mage is going to out-flash farm everybody. He sits at top of the net worth, 10.2k, and they look to go ahead and take a Roche. So eHug, this is a weird game, man. 13-2 they're ahead, and I feel like, well, we both feel like they're on the back foot, at least when it comes to defending their own base, which is the important thing here in Dota.
So an Aegis is definitely going to help. The pings came out to the top lane. They want to take this Rax, but I mean, you give away a free Roshan when you have so many AoE spells. This kind of begs the question whether or not they really have this game plan solidified. I mean, they have vision, or at least have a little bit of vision going out. It doesn't go out as far, so if they took this path, then they would have gone in unseen. But again, a Roshan right there is very, very much a game-changing Roshan, where all of a sudden eHug getting a lot more gold, a lot more XP. It's going to dip below 0 now, and CNB, if they die again, 4-man suicide for this Rax, and they only get the ranged Rax, who really wins that engagement? It's definitely eHug. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, Justin here could be in some trouble. There's a ton of follow-up here. The Shadow Blade to initiate here onto Justin. They kill him. They will kill him immediately. Of course, the Aegis was there, so they waste the Aegis. They use the ults for it, and that's great that they took the Aegis off. But now without that Epicenter, they can't push, and Justin is just going to continue farming. Maybe they gank him one more time. We will have to see, but Justin continues to get stronger, and it feels like a ticking time bomb that CNB is playing up against. I know we used that metaphor earlier to describe CNB being the bomb looking to explode the Ancient here of the Dire, but so far they've been slowed a little bit, and like we just mentioned, so what? You get this ranged Rax? That's not a melee Rax. You probably won't be able to kill that. And, well, you have a lineup here on eHug that can easily come back with an Anti-Mage from just one lane of Rax at around, what, 30 minutes probably if CNB gets that Rax? If they don't get it at 30 or 35 minutes, they probably never will.
So they're both time bombs, but the issue is CNBs went off with a couple pounds of C4, didn't quite do enough damage to their base, but eHug right now, they're a timed nuke right now. They go off,
That's a big difference.
Everything's gone. So They're going to go ahead and drop the stun onto Justin, but they can't get the follow-up from King RD. He did have Dragon for him, but not enough mana for both, and now he's got not enough mana for either. Gets a couple from the Arcane Boots, the Surge up. They're trying to find someone. They're going to find Pandago. They're going to find both Pandago and Cakes, but they're going to go ahead, vacuum. They're both in. There's the Tidehunter Ravage, and now Mana Void. Oh, man. Double kill right off the bat. 4DR is going to try to run away, but cannot get away from this. And, well, eHug. I mean, CNB have hit their peak, and now they're starting to fall behind. Meanwhile, eHug, they're really making the plays, and I don't think CNB...
Blink Dagger side.
Blink Dagger
decided to show up.
It did.
So I think here's what happened, what went wrong with eHug early on, right? So the lanes got switched around a little bit. eHug was fine. They adapted to it. They found some kills. But there were, what, 3, maybe 4 failed ganks on that Darkseer that we saw? I mean, had those ganks gone through, and actually we see one in the mid lane, will it fail this time? No, it will not. Arrow's going to connect, and he's about to get dunked. It doesn't matter. Dazzle tries his best to keep him alive. Now the call going to go through Tabo's BKB. They're going to bring him down as well. Everybody falling. It's 18-2 right now. They're going to get Baga as well. Obviously doesn't have a grave. Wouldn't matter because there's a call from Jigglebilly, and this is going to be a tier 1, 19-2. So we talked about the failed ganks. I think that set them behind a little bit with Tide not getting his levels, not getting his Blink Dagger as early as he wanted. And, well, it got pretty nerve-wracking here if you're an eHug fan, but it looks like they're back in control of this game.
Nuke went off in the river. Now we just watch the shockwaves start to bring down the towers.
Beautiful.
Beautiful indeed. A missed blink out from I'm a Sheep sucks, but they get the dust up onto 4DR. Just a little bit of a Pyrrhic victory for him as he stays alive, but it's what's it going to do for him right now. They're right now relying on a perfect ultimate combo, and it's going to be gone now. He gets arrowed up. This is his death.
That leap was maybe a little risky, but I think it's okay. CNB pretty much scared back into their base right now. So finally, at the 28-minute mark, eHug starts taking towers. They had one that went down like 10 minutes ago, the bottom tier 1. They were able to take, but since then they've taken Roche. They've started to gain map control. Now they can look to go top lane, which is obviously the lane they want to push, right? That's where they have exposed racks and a very damaged ranged barracks.
Invisibility.
Yeah, so if they can force the issue and win a fight, they still have a good shot at winning this. But the issue is they got to win a fight. And looking at their past couple of engagements have just been completely chaotic. They haven't been coordinating their ults at all, and that's not really promising to where they need to be right now. And they've already lost like 2 or 3 team fights. They're playing on tilt right now. The morale is definitely not high. This is looking very difficult for CNB right now. And again, I don't want to see the 2-0. I am still thinking CNB have a chance, but it's looking bleak. And that's...
Well, they're going top.
Yeah.
So maybe try to just run through this racks, but Ravage is back online. It's rank 2 right now. Tidehunter is level 12. Anti-Mage has a Manta, has a BKB, has a Battle Fury, and Tread, so he's now terrifying. Vlad's actually comes out on the Tidehunter just to prep up for this team fight, get the life steal. Here comes an arrow out. Will they even use it? They're not going to bother to use it here. Now looking to initiate. They go on Pandago. Pandago uses defensive disruption, but the Ravage comes out defensively to save. Tabo gets the BKB off, but can they bring him down? Cakes, BKB of his own. Sheep still alive right now. Epicenter comes out, but Justin has jumped into this battle. Already got a triple kill. Dunks coming out from Jigglebilly. Another dunk. Double kill for the Axe, and the GG called right off of that. They know that they ran out of ammunition when they tried to break that high ground, and they call it.
With the instant disconnects, that was it. Morale completely gone. And yeah, CNB, they drop 0-2 to eHug, and eHug are still alive in this tournament, while CNB, their dreams of taking home that nice CEVO prize pot are completely gone.
I'm pretty sad. I'm pretty sad to see them go. I expected them to go very, very far, and a fantastic team from South America. As we can actually look at the brackets now. I mean, take a moment to look at the final screen here. And that moment is gone, because now we're going over to the brackets and who is going to face who. Let's check it out. So eHug moves on, awaiting their opponent. I'm not sure who's going to drop down, whether it be Vasavi, No Earth Spirit, Sneaking Nyx Assassins, or Top 5. But the point I'm getting to, South American Hope, it's gone. Union Gaming did not make it to the playoffs this time around, and Revenge is apparently not a team anymore.
Yeah, so very sad. Revenge actually never made it to the playoffs either because they had too many forfeit losses, which I won't get into.
It's really not even their fault, though. Okay, it was a little bit.
Yeah, it was their fault.
They couldn't check in to matches for some reason. It's not very hard, guys. And that's why we put it in the news that you can see here, as well as our beautiful faces checking into your matches. Very important in CEVO. Hopefully, if you sign up for Season 5, which those will open soon, as it says, you will be able to figure it out. But obviously, they had some internal issues, and the scene right now is so saturated. They were playing nonstop all the time, and they had to choose. Like, if they were playing a no-name team in CEVO, they kind of were like, we're just going to take a forfeit and make it up later. Unfortunately, they took a little too many.
Yeah, and
But
unfortunately...
we've digressed. We should probably go back to congratulating eHug.
Yep, definitely. So they're going to go on to the lower bracket round 2. Dream still alive in this tournament. Going to face up against the winner of, what was it, Death by Snoo Snoo versus someone. I need to open up the brackets myself.
I got it for you.
It's going to be Death by Snoo Snoo versus the winner of, what was it?
Either top 5 Sneaky Nix Assassins or Vasavi No Earth Spirit will be dropping down there.
Yeah, so they're going to face up against that first and then go again in the lower bracket round 3. Meanwhile, the Dreams are still alive for top 5 SNA, Vasavi, and No ES, but those games are going on right now. Play CEVO 1 will be top 5 versus SNA, so if you're sticking around here, you can go ahead and show them some love. I'm pretty sure those games are still happening. And anything last to say?
No, the only thing I could say is make sure to follow Twitter at CEVO for all the updates of when we go live with our cast on Play CEVO 1, Play CEVO 2, or even Play CEVO. If you do play Counter-Strike Global Offensive, we've got some amazing action over there with the big North American teams. And as well, you can see it on the screen here, so no excuses. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm Helium at Heliumbrella, or Chicago Ted over here on my right at TedCasts.
All right, guys.
That's all we got.
Yep, thanks for watching. Thanks a lot for watching. Go ahead and follow the channel if you want. Subscribe if you like what we're doing. And we'll have more games coming up later on the week and the month. So stick around and stay tuned. Again, it's going to be a 2-0 for eHug. Thanks so much for watching. We will catch you all next time.
Peace out, guys.